Today's video is going to be very simple. I'm just going to show you guys how to make a navigation with a drop-down menu in the form of a component so that when you're linking all of your screens, you don't have to manually link every single feature on every single screen for your navigation. This is the easier way of doing things, which I did not realize until recently. So I thought that I would share it with you so that you don't have to ride the struggle bus that I did and can just cruise on through. Hi everybody, welcome back. As you know, my name's Karen and I'm trying to become a UX designer. I did want to start by apologizing for not posting last week. I actually got really tied up and overwhelmed with a project I was working on. I joined the Adobe Creative Jam and it was a lot. It's always a huge commitment, and whenever I do a creative jam, I spend hours upon hours every day working on it, and it's actually quite exhausting, but it was a good experience and I'm pretty happy with the product that my partner and I put out there, and I will share it with you guys in the next video. But that is why I didn't post anything last week. Just as a side note, if you are wanting to participate in any creative jams, I recommend that you actually sign up as a subscriber to either, I think it's Eventbrite or Creative Jam itself, and they will notify you whenever there is a creative jam, and then you don't have to be looking out for it. Originally, when I was trying to work on my mid-fidelity prototype, I realized that I needed a drop-down navigation. So I needed, certain items to be along the top, and then once you hovered above it, there would be a drop-down menu, and then you could continue to click away. So what I was doing was I was making different screens and then making another version of that screen with the navigation on the top with the drop-downs. It was very hard and time-consuming. So eventually I gave up and I thought to myself, there must be an easier way to do this. And I asked around, I even checked with people on YouTube.
And luckily for me, Miguel answered my cry for help, and now I know how to make navigation components, and I wanted to share that with you guys. So the first thing that I've done is I have created different versions of my navigation with the elements that I want to have on the page. So I have like a logo here, the different tabs, and then my main call to action button. And these are the different versions. So the idea is that when you hover over about, it'll turn orange and have an underline. When you hover above courses, the same thing. Resources, same thing. And as you go down, the ones that have drop-down menus is actually instructors and contact us. So when you hover above instructors, you'll see profiles and reviews show up, but it's when you hover above profiles that I want it to turn orange and underline, and when you hover above reviews, that it also turns orange and underlines. Moving on to the contact us is the same idea. This is what it looks like when you hover above contact us. This is what it looks like when you hover above contact, locations, and register. And just a little side tip, I would add auto layout to all of your elements so that when you want to change things around, you don't have to reformat things. So for instance, if I want to move resources here, I can, and I don't need to reformat everything. Everything just kind of shifts over. That's because I'm using auto layout. The second tip would be to make sure you're using components so that you could easily change things. So for instance, I have the logo right now set to just an orange circle, but if I wanted to, I could just change the color to pink, and then all of the other versions of my nav also changes to pink. So that's just something to make your life easier. Now to create my navigation component and variants, all I did was I took my default nav, I copy, paste it, and then I'm going to turn it into a component. It turns purple, which means it's a component. And now if you look on the side, the main component, you could rename it here. And this is the button that we're interested in. It's the variants button. So I'm going to click plus, and you'll see a new variant pops up. And in this case, you can manually remake the nav, or you can just copy and paste what you made before into the new section. And to add more variations, you just keep clicking the plus button and replacing these navs. Here you can see that I have finished making my main component, and then these are all the variations. You can tell by looking at the side. So here it'll say nav about, and click the second one, it says nav courses, nav instructors. So these are all of my different variants. Next, what I'm going to do is just test it out to show you. I'm going to put the navigation into 3 of my potential pages, and then I'm going to connect them. Okay, I'm going to head over to Assets. Here's my component. I'm going to drag it in, put it in place, and then put it onto all the other pages. I'm also going to make it so that when you click on the logo, which will be this circle, I'm going to connect it to this homepage. So every time the circle gets clicked, you'll be brought to this homepage. And as you could see, it automatically created a connection from all the other pages that has this logo on it to this homepage, which I think is amazing. I'll show you it again with another page. So here is my variant that has the profiles section highlighted. So I'm going to click this because I want people to click this to get to the profiles webpage, and I'm going to connect it to the profiles page. And at the moment you can't see any of the other pages connecting to this page because they don't have the drop down open. But if you check here, I'm going to go back to design and then click on this nav bar. You go to the side, and let's say for instance that I did hover above instructors, I would get this drop down, and then when I clicked on profiles, you'll see that under the prototype function, it is actually already connected. I didn't have to manually make that connection. So that is my tip for the week, and I really hope that it helps make your lives easier because this seemed like magic to me after I discovered it. So I highly recommend that you play around with this and try to apply it to your next project.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you need a support system of your own, you could actually join my Slack channel. It's mostly for people taking the Google UX certificate program, but you don't need to be taking it. If you just want to have people to talk to who are also transitioning, you can join us. I'll put the link down below, so don't be shy. We have meetings every Sunday. You can attend them, or you could just join the Slack channel. It's all good.